Hello and welcome to GameRules.com. My name is Mark, and today I'm going to teach you how to play Claim, a two-player trick-taking card game that essentially takes German Whist and adds special powers. In this video, I'm going to show you what you get out of the box, and I'm going to give you a thorough tutorial of the game. So let's dive in and learn how to play. Out of the box, you will get an instruction booklet, a 52-card deck, and 2 reference cards. To set up the game, determine a dealer. That player shuffles a deck and then deals 13 cards to each player. The rest of the cards are placed face down to form the stock, and the game will begin with 1 card turned face up. This game is played in 2 phases. During the first phase, you will play with the 13 cards that were dealt to you, and with those cards, you are trying to build your second phase hand. And these are called your followers. You're recruiting them. So whoever wins the trick gets the face-up card. Whoever loses the trick gets the face-down card. These cards form your follower group. And then during that second phase, you will use those cards to win points. Now, in order to play the game, you need to understand how the suits work. So let's take a moment and check out what each suit does. There are 5 different suits in this game, or 5 factions, and some of the factions have special abilities. Goblins do not have any special ability. They are just a plain suit. Knights have the ability to beat goblins. If a goblin is led to the trick and the opposite player plays a knight, then that knight always wins over the goblin, no matter the rank. The next suit is the undead, and during phase 1, any undead cards that are captured go to the trick winner's score pile rather than their follower pile. When dwarves are played to the trick, whoever loses the trick collects the dwarves and adds them to their score pile. This is during phase 2 only. Finally, we have doppelgangers. Doppelgangers are wild cards, and they become the faction of the lead card. If a doppelganger is used to lead the trick, then the opposite player must play a doppelganger if possible. So that becomes the lead faction. Now that you understand how the suits work in this game, let's dive in and see some gameplay. Okay, so the player opposite of the dealer will lead first. We'll say that the player at the top of the screen dealt. So the player at the bottom of the screen is player 1, and they will lead the first trick. They are going to go ahead and lead out a knight. After the trick has been led, the opposite player plays a card to the trick from their hand, and they must follow suit if they can. So if they have any knights, they have to play a knight. And they do. Now there is one exception to that rule. Doppelgangers are wild, and you can play those even if you are able to follow suit. For this trick though, we will go ahead and use the 6 to follow suit and win the trick. The tricks during phase 1 are simply discarded off to the side unless there are point cards in there, like the undead cards. The trick winner takes the face-up card and adds it to their follower pile face down, and the trick loser draws the top card. They may look at it, and then they place it face down in their follower pile. At the end of the first phase, all of these cards will have been played. The stock will be gone, and each player will have a full 13 card follower pile. That follower pile will become their hand for the second phase. Now, after the trick's been completed and the cards have been collected, you turn up the next card to see what you're competing for. Ooh, a 9 of goblins. The person who won the trick leads the next one. We'll have them lead out their doppelganger, their 3 of doppelgangers. The following player must follow suit if they can. If they can't, they can play any card. Or, of course, doppelgangers are wild. However, when a doppelganger is led, you must follow suit with a doppelganger if possible. They have one. The 3 of doppelgangers wins the trick. Trick's discarded. The trick winner takes the face-up card, adds it to their follower pile. Trick loser takes the top card from the stock and adds it to their follower pile. The next card is revealed, and the trick winner leads. So we will go ahead and have our dwarf led here. So the trick winner leads the 7 of dwarves. Now their special power is only activated during the second phase. So for this first phase, the loser does not collect these cards. But they went ahead and threw out the 7. Our player here does not have any dwarves that are higher, so they're going to go ahead and throw out their 1. Again, this player wins the trick. They take this, add it to their pile. They get this 0, and the trick is discarded. The next card is revealed, and our trick winner leads again. Now, they don't really want that goblin, so they're going to go ahead and lead out a really low card, the goblin of their own. That's 0. The following player must follow suit. Our player at the bottom of the screen must follow, and they don't want that 0 either. So they're going to play a 0 of goblins. In case of a tie with a matching suit and matching rank, the leader wins the trick. So here, our player at the top of the screen wins the trick, which means they have to take this 0 ranked card. Our trick loser gets to take the top card of the stock. The next one is revealed, and our player at the top of the screen must play again. Well, they're going to go ahead and try their luck with this undead. This 4 of the undead. So whoever wins this trick is going to get this card added to their score pile. Our player here does have undead, and they have a higher one. So that was a really good play for them. The 5 of undead wins the trick, and the winner gets to add both of these cards to their score pile. So over here we have the follower pile face down, and over here we'll have our score pile kept face up. Be sure to keep them like this so you can differentiate between the two. Our player here at the bottom of the screen also gets the knight added to their hand, and our player at the top of the screen adds the 9 of dwarves to their follower pile, and I meant follower pile down here. Reveal the next card, and our trick winner leads. All right, our player at the bottom of the screen leads. The player up top either follows suit or plays a doppelganger, and they'll go ahead and just use their 4, and they win the trick. Trick's discarded. They collect the face-up card. This player takes the top part of the stock. The next card is revealed, and play like that continues until all 13 tricks have been played for the first phase. Let's go ahead and fast forward and see the second phase. So phase 1 ended. The stock is completely gone. Each player now takes their follower pile and organizes it, and it becomes their hand. The last trick of the first phase ended with our player at the top of the screen winning the trick, and they actually have gotten a couple undead points in their score pile. Now, to win the game, you need to have control of 3 or more factions, and you get control of the faction by having the most amount of cards from that faction. So right now, our player here at the bottom of the screen, player 1, has control of the undead faction because they have 4 of those cards. So our player at the top of the screen most likely knows that they don't have control of that faction, and they need to decide, are they going to try to gain control of that faction, or are they going to focus on the other faction? If both players have the same number of cards in a faction, you determine who controls it by who has the highest numbered card in that faction. So the last trick winner was the player at the top of the screen, so they will lead the first trick for phase 2. All of the rules apply as far as following suit if possible or playing a doppelganger if you're following. And the only thing that's different is now when you win the trick, you are taking the cards from that trick and adding them to your score pile. The only exception to that rule is with the dwarves, who the trick loser will take any dwarves out of that trick and add them to their score pile. So we will go ahead and have our player here at the top of the screen lead first, and they're going to work on the goblin suit. So they lead a 9 of goblins. They have goblins, so they have to follow suit. And remember, you can play doppelgangers instead of following suit, but that does this player no good because they played a 9. That's the highest rank, and the leader wins the trick in the case of a tie. So we'll go ahead and just have this player play that 0. Highest card in the lead suit wins. So the 9 wins, and those cards are added to their score pile. There is no drawing in phase 2. You simply go to the next trick. So this player is going to go ahead and lead another goblin. And they lead the 8. That brings out the 1. So that wins the trick again. That goes to their score pile. They must lead again, and they'll try one more time. They'll throw out the 5. Now this player does not have any goblins. So they could play doppelgangers if they wish. They don't have to. And they are actually going to go ahead and play a knight. They're going to save those doppelgangers. They'll play their knight. If a goblin is led and a knight follows, the knight always wins regardless of rank. So this 2 of knights beats the 5 of goblins. And now that you've seen how phase 2 works, let's go ahead and just fast forward to the end and learn how to figure out who wins the game. All of the tricks for phase 2 are complete. It's time to figure out who wins. Again, whoever has majority control of at least 3 factions wins the game. Okay. So they don't have any doppelgangers. So this player has won the doppelganger faction for sure. This player does not have any knights. So player 1 has won the knight faction for sure. We've got 2 dwarfs and 3 dwarves. So there you go. Our player 1 has won the game. They have 3 factions, plus they definitely won undead, and they did not win the goblins though. So this player only won 1 of the factions. This player won 4 of the factions. So player 1 wins the game. And that's how to play Claim. If you have any questions about this game, or if you have a game you would like to see a tutorial for, be sure to let me know down below in the comments. If you found this video helpful, the best thing you can do is subscribe, ring the bell, and give this video a thumbs up. I've got a playlist of other card games for you right here if you would like to dive into that. And if you would like to read the rules or have written rules for this game and many others as a reference, you can head over to gamerules.com. I do have a link down in the description that will take you straight to it. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, until next time, keep on playing.